Hey, this is Cam Pipes from 3 Inches of Blood.
Hi, this is Charlotte from Delane.
What's up? This is Parker Jameson from the band Starkill.
This is Brittany Slays from Unleash the Archers.
I'm Greg Browning from Crimson Shadows, and thanks for listening to the Great Metal Debate Podcast.
Welcome, Great Metal Debate listeners. Glad you could join us for one of our great artist interviews. And I'm here today via Skype with one Mr. Bill Wallace, who is the bassist of Striker.
Hey guys, what's going on?
How's it going, Bill?
It's going well, man. How are you guys doing?
Actually, we're doing pretty good. I know the listeners are anxious to hear from you guys. Now, for those of you that don't know, and if you follow the Great Metal Debate and you love metal, you should know Striker's another one of our favorite in a long lineage of phenomenal Canadian metal bands. Bill, why don't you kind of give us a brief rundown on Striker and its history?
Yeah, sure, man. It emerged shortly after we all graduated high school, like back in 2007, 2008. And it all started with just a little scratchy basement demo, and some of the boys went and did a few festival runs, so just visiting festivals, meeting friends in Europe, and they gave out some of these demos, and they returned 6 weeks later, and they had already been offered a couple indie contracts that people were really interested, and it just kind of manifested from there. It started with a label I don't even know if they exist anymore called Iron Codex, and they released the Road Warrior we did. And then that eventually turned into Eyes in the Night. And then I don't really know the full story about what the hell was going on with those guys, but that door kind of closed, and the door to working with Napalm Records opened.
Yeah.
And did Arm to the Teeth. We recorded with Michael Wagner in Nashville, and released that via Napalm, and they re-released the Eyes in the Night and the Road Warrior on vinyl and CD, and then eventually, some tours and stuff fell through and whatnot, but I think that album got a good response. Maybe not enough enough touring with it, but great album. And
it's a great album. It really is.
I love it. It sounds like it's got that beautiful Michael Wagner touch to it. It sounds so vintage, and I think it worked really well with like all the tracks that were made with that one too. So very great album, very happy about that. And then a couple years later, we decided to do a new album, City of Gold, and we decided we wanted a more modern sounding album this time, not so vintage sounding. You know what I mean?
Yes.
With the heavy kick drums, the more like Dimebag sounding guitars, very razor sharp, and so we recorded in Sweden, and we ended up getting what resulted to be City of Gold, and we're very proud with how that worked. And leading up to the new album, Stand in the Fire, we worked with Studio Friedman again to try and capture that wonderful sound that he was able to produce. And we're super excited about this new album, which is just as fun. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are super excited about it. I tell you what, let's because we're going to talk about the new album a lot. There was a lot of cool stuff that y'all did I want to talk about.
Okay.
Before we go on with that, let me get just a little bit of history on you, Bill. I have this question I ask all the musicians that I talk with, and many of them have what I call a metal epiphany. They listen to a band, a song, a show, and something clicks, and it becomes the thing that they want to do for their life. Did you have one of those moments? Was there a certain artist, band, or song that kind of threw you over the edge of wanting to be a bass player in a band?
I was always super stoked about like shred guitar and like heavier music, especially growing up. But the world of heavy metal as I know it now didn't exist. I didn't have I guess the contacts of people who opened my doors to these things. But when it probably would have been sometime in high school, maybe when I was in the 12th grade. I think, especially for shred guitar, our singer Dan gave me a mix album of like all sorts of stuff from Ozzy to like the beautiful shredding of Jason Becker, and it really like opened my eyes to that realm. And then our friend Ian, who was a guitar player in Stryker once upon a time, he had like just an amazing music collection. He started showing me bands like Loudness, and he showed me bands like Primal Fear, and he gave me Judas Priest Painkiller. And I think at that point, when I listened to Black Sun and Painkiller, my whole perspective of like what music in my head should be changed. And I started to develop some kind of elitist complex, I think, being a 17-year-old I was at the time. But it was those albums, and it was Symphony X5 I got around the same time, and Halloween's Keeper of the Seven Keys. So just a whole mix of these wonderful albums, like from different reaches, and they were totally game changing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of those bands and albums that you mentioned could be, top 10 lists of 80s, 90s, and 2000s metal. I mean, this is great stuff. When did you know you could do this? You wanted to do this for a living, though. I mean, was there a point where you said, okay, I'm going to all in?
I think Stryker started to get a lot of like attention, and like the fan base kept growing, and like people from all over the world wanted to see us. And when you take the music career, it's risky, especially in like the heavier genres. I mean, we don't go out and try and do this for millions of dollars. We're not trying to be Metallica here, but the big thing is like you only have so much of your life to live, and I think when you look back on like what you've done with yourself, like what are the things that you value the most? And so when this opportunity came forward, it was like, this is something I think a lot of us dreamed of as kids. And when we first picked up an instrument, to just be able to play shows and like, and create music we all loved. And I think when that opportunity really presented itself, it was almost a no-brainer. So.
Well, I mean, it's amazing what a few basement tapes have turned into for you guys. Really incredible.
Yeah, man. And it's still pretty surreal,
Cool. Now, in today's metal community, there's so many different sounds. I mean, now you guys, you have a ton of different sounds, but you have more of an 80s sound, which is one of the reasons why I love the band. I love the exactly the types of guitars and the shredding guitars that you talk about. How would you describe your sound? And is that important to you? Does it matter what people describe your sound as?
Yeah, I mean, we like to familiarize ourselves with like the heavy metal genre, and I know a lot of people call it the new wave of British heavy metal, but I just think that's too many words. So we like to refer to ourselves as the new wave of heavy metal, and it's not like the Lamb of God style. It's just totally like rock and roll, heavy metal, headbanging, classic style that people were introduced to in the late 70s and throughout the 80s.
Right.
And I think it really comes down from the influences of, a lot of it is Dan. He writes a majority of the music, and he's interested in bands like, Vicious Rumors, the Carl Albert era, huge Iron Maiden influence, a huge Judas Priest influence. So the rock and roll has always kind of been there, and the heavy metal aspect of it,
Yeah, definitely. You definitely have that sound. The new video released Too Late, it has that definite Stryker sound with a little bit of a new edge to it. Is that sound indicative of what's coming in February with the release of the new album Stand in the Fire?
Yeah, I think so, man. Like, we have a lot of... This album to me is like really awesome because we didn't hold anything back, So like, our friend Randy released Randy's a guy who did the drums for this album, because our drummer Adam, he couldn't be around. He was touring with another band at the time, so he couldn't track drums for us. But Randy released a video of another track called Out for Blood, and if you listen closely, there's some saxophone in it. and it's just enough. It's not too cheesy, you know what I mean? But it
Yeah.
adds to the chorus, the guitar melody. And like we've done a few of those things where we're like, you know what, screw it, let's just try it, see how it sounds. And I'm not saying we're doing anything experimental by any means, like no way. But I think this album is just like no holds bar and just like, you know, a really good all around heavy metal album. And I'm so excited for the world to hear it.
It sounds like Stryker is playing Stryker the way they want to. That's always a good thing, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like we went independent this time, so like the opinions of someone across the world are no longer like validated. It's what we think is good, and honestly, I think it paid off.
Excellent. Now, what was writing this album like? Well, I mean, you said Dan writes a lot of music. Was it a conglomeration? You know, I mean, does he do most of the writing still, or is a little bit of everybody?
This time it was between him and Tim, our lead guitar player. And one thing that we talked about before we started doing like the demos and stuff for this was like he wanted people to contribute if they had any ideas, like just let's talk about it, let's sit down, let's
Yeah.
record them and hear them. And so basically Dan and Tim just started pumping out demos, like, you know, like what do you guys think of this? What do you guys think of that? And then we had a guitar player playing with us last year. He's no longer with us anymore, but he helped create a real banger, and we're very excited about that song too. It's very in your face, almost speed metal type song, and
Cool.
yeah, so there was a lot more contribution as far as other members this time around, and then we had the musical genius of Randy Black on the drums. You know, like when a lot of these demos are made, you just use, you know, whatever drum program you have and whatever program you're using. I think the guys use Pro Tools, Easy Drummer stuff, and Randy hears it and adds his own finesse to it, and it's just a whole other level of musicianship and playing. So I think there is contribution from many members as opposed to Dan being like, hey guys, here's 10 songs I wrote, what do you think? It was more like, you know, let's sit down together, talk about these parts, or let's hear what you guys have written, and let's take it to the table.
Excellent. Now let's get into the album a little bit more. Now you guys did so much changing with the way you recorded and mixed this album. I'm just going to kind of turn you loose. Kind of tell me what all went into the making of this album, and it's particularly the independent parts that you guys did yourself.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is a really exciting part because with the way music is growing, you know, just in general, it is so accessible to have the programs that these pros use in their studios, right? Whether it's Cubase or whether it's Pro Tools. We've had these programs for a while. It's what we used to record our demos with. It's what Eyes in the Night was actually recorded with. And so when we were able to make contacts, you know, with like guys in Studio Fredman, we realized that they could take whatever sound you have or like guitar tracks and they can reamp stuff and whatever. You can do all the editing yourself. So we're like, do we really need to approach another studio if we can do a lot of the dirty work here? You know, like guitar tracking can be very, very tiresome, and you can do the bass tracking and stuff like that, and you can do vocals if you have the right mic, you know what I mean? So we're like, well, let's just try and piece what we can together at home in our own studio, and then we'll work with the guys in Sweden and give them the tracks to do their magic with, which is just, you know, they just have a way of mixing and mastering that we just couldn't do ourselves. So that's where that relationship works so well. So a lot of it, you know, recording at home, trying to, I mean, we still have to spend a lot of time tracking and recording and everything, but at this time, if we have to work or if we have other stuff to do, we don't have to dedicate like time traveling or investing like that kind of money. That in turn we can utilize our time, our efforts, our funds a lot better, and to create a better outreach. So
Do you see music going that direction? A lot of independent people putting together stuff and sending it to be mixed. That kind of production.
I honestly think it's the way of the world. I mean, we can sit here on Skype and talk and have this interview. We don't have to go in person, or you don't even have to call me on my phone, right? I mean,
right.
It's so convenient now using the web and the programs, and it's just so easy to communicate, and especially in real time, you know. So to me, I mean, just my own opinion, like a lot of people are saying CDs and just like printed music is going out of style, and I don't believe that. I mean, I love collecting vinyl. I don't care if it's from the 1980s or if it's from the 2015s, you know what I mean? Like, I'll always want to collect vinyl, and I'm hoping bands continue to press that. What I think is happening is the independent approach is just, it's way easier for fans and bands to connect with each other. You really remove the middleman. Maybe if you're a band, a huge band or a huge artist, you know, maybe having a giant record label is the way to go as far as like distribution and whatnot. But a lot of that stuff, it's all networking, and you can really do yourself if you send the right emails, if you talk to the right people, and you're willing to develop relationships. So I think especially for emerging artists, and maybe even some of the bigger acts, I really think doing it yourself is the way to go.
Cool, very cool. Now you spoke about vinyl, and a lot of bands are offering vinyl in their pre-order packages, and I know you guys are doing that too. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the pre-order stuff now?
Yeah, absolutely. So we threw together, we wanted to, you know, I see a lot of these GoFundMe projects, and we're really interested in doing that, but we wanted to have the album done before we started the pre-order, just like anything. We didn't necessarily want this album to be fan funded. We wanted to have the product for the fans, so there was actually like something there, and that we could give, you know, finished tracks as we go along and really promote it, rather than just banking on the fact that people might want to or might not want to hear a new album from us, right? So
yeah.
We threw together the pre-order, so we have some really cool things, like we have skateboards. We have a local guy here. He creates awesome decks. Like, I know the thrashier music and stuff usually goes hand in hand with like skateboarding. Regardless, we were given a cool opportunity to like throw our stuff on like some really well-made Canadian skateboards. So we were doing that. We got some belt buckles, which are also bottle openers. Which, you know, if you're a heavy metal fan, you probably enjoy your beer. I know I certainly do. So I mean, you know, you'll always have a bottle opener on hand.
Yeah, why not put it on your belt buckle? That's amazing.
And it's so convenient. I mean, Adam has a belt buckle with a bottle opener on it, and he uses it all the time. It's so convenient.
Great.
It's just like your cell phone, you know. It's just like it's so easy. It's so simple, and such a good idea.
Oh yeah. What are the dates on the pre-order? I know it's been going since mid-November, right?
Yeah. So the pre-order is going to wrap itself up December the 10th.
Okay.
And
5 days.
So yeah, in 5 days, and we basically have exclusive artwork for the pre-order, and some of these items are going to be exclusive only to the pre-order. And we really wanted to set like a timeline on that. So number one, we could order this stuff in time for the pre-sale and have everything lined up. And this also helps us from over-ordering, you know what I mean? Like,
sure, yeah.
Don't want to order 100 skateboards and have only 3 people.
Sure.
Just as a random example. And like the artwork we got done for this is really cool too. So it really, you know, gives people that opportunity to be like, well, I'm one of very few people that own this, you know.
Sure.
And I love that. That's rare stuff. So we also have some vinyl, some test pressings, which we're giving away for people who want to share and like help get the word out. So, I mean, if you're listening right now, go to our Facebook page and find that link. I think it's on the top of our page, and share it, and you can win like a test pressing of the vinyl, which is really cool. You know, that's stuff, you know, that I think we have 5 of them. So.
Excellent. I mean, you definitely have some cool stuff on your merch page. There's a lot of good stuff to look at there. A lot of stuff I think people will want if you get there. That's amazing. I'm sure some of our listeners will get there too.
Yeah. I
And
love
you
the
can,
fact. I love that, and we really want to include people. So every order made, regardless of what it is, if it's a digital download or if it's like the keg party, it doesn't really matter. But we want to throw your name in the booklet, and that's never going to leave it. You know, you're going to be a contributor to helping make this album get out there and helping us like really plan tours and increasing like the quality of our live show. It's something we've always like prided ourselves on, and it's only going to get better. And the contribution in the pre-order is going to like basically directly reflect how we can step our game up and how we can even reach further around the globe to visit fans from everywhere. You know, so
sure, yeah.
contributions will like is wonderful. Your name will be in there, so if you do order, just let us know how you want your name spelled. What if you have a nickname? We don't care. You know, if you want to be called whatever, you know, you just let us know when you order, and it'll be in there. I promise.
Yeah, and I want to encourage fans to go check out. I heard you mention in there the Basement Keg Party, and then the Choose a Cover Song options and stuff like that. They have some really unique fan involvement for this entire project. It's almost revolutionary in the way to approach promoting and putting together an album and a way to involve the people who love your band. I really was impressed with it.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, we put a lot of time into like how we could be like way more just direct, you know, like
Uh-huh.
when we were in like when we were with Napalm. Um, you know, they have their own way they want to approach things, right? And it works good, but I mean, there's that middleman. So if we want to do really cool exclusive items, that doesn't necessarily mean that they want to do those, right? So this gives us a chance to like do something a little more risky, but be a little more direct, and in turn, we can do some pretty cool things, you know. And we have already got one of our cover songs bought up, so we have one more left. I know it seems a little pricey, but I promise if you and a couple of friends like throw a few bucks together, we'll play whatever the hell you want us to do. And the one song that was picked, which I'm not going to reveal to you guys, um, is just
That,
it's perfect. It is so good. I'm so excited that was the option, and people are really going to love that. I
well, shit,
guarantee
now I
it.
got to buy the album. You got me all interested. Well, that's cool. Well, listen, let's kind of we'll start wrapping up here. Just tell me you got tours coming up. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. We have a ton of dates coming up. 2016, starting February 5th, we fly over to Europe and we do. We're going to be opening for Primal Fear, which
Awesome.
is wonderful. Like I mentioned earlier in the interview, Primal Fear's Black Sun was a huge reason why I'm into the heavy metal I'm in today. And just to be able to tour with some of my idols, like that to me is just kind of mind-boggling, you know. So we're going to be doing that. I believe it's the 5th to the 28th of February, and then we're going to try and hit a few dates in UK. We're just in the middle of confirming a few shows. We'll at least be playing in London and Glasgow and like some of the bigger cities in the UK. But
Now,
and then
will you guys be playing in Mexico and South America this month? Did I read that? Or did I
what
read that wrong?
happened? There was that big hurricane and whatnot. Uh,
Oh, okay.
hurricane. Oh, geez, I don't even remember
Yeah,
the name.
hurricane
Sorry.
tore the hell out of Mexico. Yeah.
Yeah, it beat the hell out of Mexico, and so the promoters had contacted us, and I think it came down to just like being able to book the best show for the time, and I think December wasn't the best for a lot of those promoters, and so they were willing to have us, but they felt that if we could put it off, you know, until like springtime, it would be way worth everybody's time. So we're going to get back from the UK probably about the 6th or 8th of March, and we have shows starting, oh geez, I can't remember, somewhere in South America, starting on the 11th of March, and we're going to be doing South America and Mexico until about the end of March.
Great.
And
So
we're going to take
you
a
had to
couple
put it
months.
off, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hey, no worries, man. We are also working on booking USA. We have some dates confirmed. We're just trying to finalize some stuff, and going to throw some Canadian dates in there too, and that'll be around starting probably beginning of May until sometime in June too. So.
Oh man, I hope you guys could make it to Louisville or Nashville or Clarksville, Tennessee, somewhere in that area. That would be awesome to see you guys live.
Yeah, we're going to try and reach all the places that went really well for us last year and try and hit off some of the other cities. There's so many beautiful cities in the United States of America which we didn't have a chance to go through, and I know we had some disappointed fans last time. They were not happy that we couldn't make it close. So we're going to try and expand our reaches here, you know, and like make it a really good time for everybody, and really hopefully reach out to all the people we have, you know, waiting to see us. So
excellent. We're waiting to see you too, man. Well, tell me, Bill, where can fans get Stryker music and merchandise?
The big thing is on our website. So www.stryker-metal.com. If you forget the dash, it should send you to our website anyways.
There
I
we
think
go.
we have that. Right now on our store, you're only going to find the pre-sale stuff until the 10th. You won't have access to any of the. Well, we can do it, but we're really trying to get people to buy this new album. So probably starting on the 11th of December, we will have the rest of our store back open. You know, if something is really pressing, if you need to send an album or something for Christmas, just send us a message via Facebook and tell us what you're looking for, and we can probably help you there, whether it's a T-shirt or you know, whatever disc you're looking for, or whatever vinyl, which we don't have very many left of.
Right.
I believe you can find us on iTunes. If you have Spotify, just search us up on Spotify. Listen to the tunes there, you know. And all over YouTube, our channel has our brand new video. And you can find just through like Napalm our other videos that we've released in the past. So we're kind of all over the place with our music. It's pretty easy to find.
All right. I'm going to do a side note here. Bill, do you guys have a release date yet? It's February?
February the 5th.
February 5th. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, we want to thank Bill Wallace, bassist for Stryker, who's here today with us and talked with us today. We've talked about Stand in the Fire, the new album coming February 5th. Followed by a tour in Europe with Primal Fear, none other than Primal Fear. Bill, thanks for being here. It was a great interview. Be sure and hit their website up and look at that pre-order stuff. And if you can't get there in time for that, then be sure and get the new album when it comes out.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me a chance to talk about what's going on. Like I said, we're really excited for this. You can find 2 of the new songs online. One via, you know, our YouTube channel, Stryker Metal. Watch the video. Head over to our website. Even if you're not interested in pre-ordering, until the 10th of December, you can download Too Late for free and add that to whatever playlist you have. So just at least go and get the free track. And you can search up Out for Blood by Randy Black. He does a playthrough of that song. So there's two beautiful samples of what's to come. And thank you so much for giving us the time. Really appreciate it.
Super excited, Bill. Thanks again for the Great Metal Debate. Be sure and check us out at all our access points. This is Brian. Till the next podcast.